Welcome to our movie about early childhood education. Early childhood education is very important. There are many reasons for this. The first
All right. Enough of that. We'll take it from here. If we kept that up much longer, we totally would have lost you. And chances are, we wouldn't have gotten you back. The point is, beginnings matter. Like a basketball team that doesn't play defense the whole first quarter. Or an architect who says, forget the blueprint, let's just start building. Or a stand-up comic who skips the setup and goes right to the punchline.
28.
But the place beginnings matter most in life is, well, life.
Babies in the beginnings of humanity grew up in these very rich extended families. Not just mothers, but fathers, grandmothers, friends, cousins. And they were all there all the time with the children. So in that kind of context, in that kind of a village, caring for children, teaching them, just getting the work done that you need, they all take place at the same time. And of course, the world that we live in now is a very, very different world from that.
Parents are increasingly having to raise kids on their own, and they are also having to do it while they have to work in order to earn enough to even support a family at all. What people now have come to understand is that these early childhood years, for reasons of brain development, for reasons of personality development, are more important than anything else. The central problem is that our society has a diminished capacity to support parents in doing what society expects them and needs them to do. Why a society would do this is a bit of a mystery.
Here's an enemy that most folks don't even know we need to fight. These are our children, our families in this country. Ignoring this and just going on as if it's going to correct itself, that's a disaster for us as a society.
So welcome to our movie about early childhood education. If we do our job, by the time we're done, you'll view this baby and the world just a little bit differently. Because this isn't an expose, it's a wake-up call to start seeing early childhood for what it is, a grown-up issue, a game changer, to start seeing it as no small matter.
What do you think you do at your house if you can't get a diaper on a baby?
Take your arms and then wrap it around.
This is how you do it at your house?
No.
My name is Rachel Giannini, Giannini.
And do you have a title? Is your title?
I would be lead teacher. We are at Highland Park Community Nursery School and Daycare Center, and we are in the yellow room.
Brianna told me how she learned how to change a diaper. How did you learn, Lucy? Your mom taught you. How did your mom teach you?
Today we're going to start a unit about how we learn. Yes. They're starting to develop this idea that you have this computer inside of your head that you can't see, and it controls everything about you.
And how do you know I have a brain? Because if you don't have a brain, your head will be flat. And it will be like...
Kids this age are far more capable than you and I would ever give them credit for. So when you give them the materials and you give them some knowledge, they're able to run with it.
Okay,
we are going to have a very important discussion. Number one, when do we start to learn?
I don't know.
Is it the first day of school?
No.
No, I would agree with that.
Playtime.
When do we start to learn?
Wrong time.
Rug time? Let's take away school. Anna, what did you say?
The day I was born.
The day what happened the day you were born? You started to do what?
Started playing.
You started playing, and when you play, you learn. Ayana, that is exactly right. You started to learn the day you were born.
Babies are born learning. There is a brain ready to learn, and it's ready to learn especially from other people. A social brain. Our work on imitation, I think, helps show that. I remember sitting in front of this 42-minute-old baby who had never seen a tongue before. I poked out my tongue at her, and she responded with tongue protrusion back. I opened and closed my mouth. She watched my lips move and responded by opening and closing her mouth. This is a phenomenal thing. The baby had never seen her own face, but yet she was able to connect her own body to my body. And it was a dramatic demonstration to me that we are born learning.
For some 2,000 years, people thought that babies and young children were sort of defective grown-ups. So they defined babies and young children in terms of all the things that they were missing. So they were irrational, they were egocentric, they couldn't understand the relationships between cause and effect, or take the perspective of another person. The picture was that there really wasn't very much that was going on until children got to be about the age that you went to school.
If you're ready, up goes the curtain.
About 35 years ago, maybe, we started really changing our view.
All right, great. So we're just gonna have her choose between the puppets now? All right, that was the helpful guy, wasn't it?
One thing that happened is that we got new technologies that actually let us study babies in new ways.
Hi, Robin.
Hi.
That completely revolutionized our picture about what babies and young children were like.
This is very, very new. We're the first in the world to put a baby in an MEG machine. This is perfectly safe and non-invasive. It's like a stethoscope for the brain.
We're just gonna slowly place him in the car seat, just like you would. I'm gonna plug him in on the side here.
MEG, magnetoencephalography, allows you to measure the firing of the neurons in the brain as a child is doing something, like listening to a word.
Two little monkeys high up in the trees.
Or interacting with mom.
Hi. What do you want?
Okay, as you can see, mom is talking to the baby, and we're getting very, very good attention on the part of the infant. Let's look at right frontal.
For the first time in history, we can see what's happening in the baby's brain before they can talk back to us.
挂在手上，都不错哈。好，那我们现在来数。
What we found is that children learn more and learn earlier than anyone ever expected. Babies are doing something remarkable without anybody knowing it's going on. The baby brain is actually taking statistics as they listen to us talk. They don't know words yet, but they can tell the frequency of the sounds. While you're talking to the baby's brain is reacting, trying to get ready to talk back to you. People have the tendency to think there's nothing going on up there. What's going on up there is rocket science.
In fact, the first 3 years of life are like a big bang for the brain. An explosion of 86 billion neurons connecting to each other over 1 million times a second as babies interact with the world and the people around them. These connections form pathways that wire together different parts of the brain. So many pathways that starting around age 3, the brain hits the brakes and kicks into use it or lose it mode.
There's this kind of inflection point where the connections that have been used a lot get to be stronger and stronger. The connections that aren't used disappear. They're pruned, as people say.
And whether or not the connection is strengthened or dies back is experience dependent, right? It's based on our experiences. So literally, our experiences shape our brains.
Our brains grow faster during the first 5 years of life than they ever will again. And the older we get, the harder it is to change what's there.
This is why this early period is so important. If you miss the right experiences, or if you disrupt those circuits, then you have some weakened foundation that your brain is going to have to deal with for the rest of your life.
So what has the biggest impact on how well the brain gets wired? Us. It's not flashcards or fancy apps that build a healthy brain. It's everyday back and forth interactions with loving, supportive adults. School is basically anywhere with anyone.
Come on, let's show Madely's favorite game. Okay, you got her legs?
Yep.
Okay.
Social interaction is brain food for the child's healthy development.
Hi, baby.
These everyday moments with the child are actually learning moments for the child.
The science has never been clearer. Babies' early experiences and the connections that they have with those important adults in their lives during this time of incredible brain development create the foundation for all that follows.
You want Pet Koopa? Oh, is he giving you kisses?
So this really raises the stakes on what we provide for children in the earliest years of life. If we don't get that right, then from then on, we're basically fixing something that's broken.
A baby pumpkin. Pick it up.
I can pick it up.
You're happy.
The good news is we know what kids need to thrive. The bad news, we're making it harder and harder for parents to give it to them.
This is the portrait of a very important bride. She is the wife and mother of America. Her job is to make a home, the American home. Today, it is perhaps the most important job in the world.
So we have all of this research from social scientists, from neuroscientists, telling us why it's so important to invest in young children from birth to 5. At the same time, we have these old-fashioned notions around the role of women. Why should a baby be anywhere but with a mom until she's 3 or 5?
Families look very, very different than they did 30, 40, 50, 20 years ago.
Not that long ago, a high school diploma and a good attitude was enough to get you a job where one salary could support one family with a couple of kids.
Today, there are so many families where both parents have to work. Or if there's only one parent, that parent is working.
More women are in the workforce. More women are in the workforce that have children under the age of 5.
The demands of work are radically different. The unpredictable work hours that families have to navigate, for example.
You may or may not live close to your family, and so that creates a challenge.
Parents need this support. This is not a luxury.
We pretend that it's Ozzie and Harriet days, and there's someone who's taking care of the baby. Well, who's taking care of the baby?
Hi, big girl. Hi. Hi. Hey. 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 I'm cooking. I don't want to go back to work tomorrow. Let's just spend like $10 a day playing the lottery till we strike it big. I'll start off with $1 million. What do you say? Sending her to a daycare center was not something we wanted to do for at least a year. But we're in a home where both of us have to work in order to survive. We have to work. You see your daddy? It's not like there's a smorgasbord of childcare out there. We were lucky to find what we found. It was a scramble, like we were going to child care facilities every day. The availability is slim to none. We really only have a few options, despite teacher ratio, despite class size, they all cost the same. Of course, it's going to require us to basically scale back some of our spending and appropriate some of our savings. You want to hold this for me? I don't know how people do it. I really don't. Let's go change you. Come on. You want to change clothes? Sorry. So tomorrow, you have to go to school, okay? And I know it'll be okay. You're a big, strong girl. No one's gonna love your child the way you do. Nobody's gonna care for your child the way you will. But I'm looking for the closest thing to it. Yeah. So sorry that I have to do this to you. It's so rough. You're just so not ready for this. I know you're not. All right, let's go. If I could stay at home, I'd stay home in a heartbeat.
There is no system of care and support for infants and toddlers in the United States. Instead, when you have a baby, it's like being born into the Wild West. You gotta fend for yourself and make it work.
Every week, more than 11 million American children under the age of 5 spend over half their waking hours in the care of someone other than their parents. The cost of that care is soaring. In 28 states, it's now more expensive to put a baby in childcare than it is to send a kid to public college. But just 10% of the childcare in America is considered high quality. So you pretty much have no idea what you're going to get once that door closes.
When I had my second son, I quickly began to realize that childcare was going to cost us $2,000 a month. That was the mortgage.
I have what I can imagine is a very good starting out first job, after college, and I still cannot afford childcare.
I would either have to work to sustain childcare, but I wouldn't be able to pay my other bills, or I would just have to, stay at home and not pay childcare to take care of my child, but then I'm not making any income.
But if you go for a subsidy or you go to ask for money to help, they look at you funny because they're like, you make too much. You don't make enough to do that. So I'm stuck in that kind of middle class bracket.
I didn't have anywhere to go. I did not have any structural support. And I ended up having to move into a homeless shelter.
My son cried so much at that daycare within this woman's home that eventually I had to quit my job because while I couldn't prove it, I knew something was wrong. And he was too young to articulate anything. As he got a little older, he was able to tell me, Mommy, she just yelled. She yelled and screamed a lot.
Kaylee was not our first pregnancy. We actually miscarried with twins and then miscarried again after that. So being able to have a viable live birth and child was even more, we wanted to take care of her even more so. I'm getting teary. Because of the fact that, it took us that much to get her here that, sorry, I didn't know this was gonna happen. That putting her life in someone else's hands means so much. So from the beginning, knowing what I saw in childcare, I didn't want to put her there. So we just, bounced her around family member to family member until we made the decision for her dad to stay home.
this is not the way it's supposed to be.
The notion of a fair start goes back to this moral obligation we have always felt across political lines, across ideologies. This notion of everybody gets a chance to be successful, to live the American dream. And that is fundamentally not happening right now.
Kids are not starting out in life with the same opportunity.
I'm a little acorn round, lying on a cocoa ground. Everybody steps on me, that is why I crack, you see. I'm nutty.
Okay, here. Put some mix in here. Do more?
More?
Because that won't make very many pancakes. Okay, put it in. Ooh, good job.
Damien is a very, very sweet little boy. Like, he cares more about others than he does himself.
Is that nasty?
No, it's yummy.
When he was first born, he was in the NICU for the first 22 days of his life.
He had a hole in his heart, he had bleeding in his stomach, and he had something wrong with his lungs that they couldn't figure out. He's like my miracle child. Literally my $1 million baby. His hospital bills was $975,000 before the doctors.
I'll flip it.
Good job.
Yay!
I normally work graveyard shift.
I work 9 to 7. He's going in at 3. So now we have to find a babysitter and try to get his car fixed at the same time. And then figure out how I'm gonna get home from work.
So I will talk to Sergio about babysitting. He said his wife shouldn't have a problem with it. She babysits like 3 or 4 girls anyway at home.
I was a stay-at-home mom, and now Donnie's with him all day and I'm with him all night. We couldn't afford to put him in preschool because it's expensive.
Yes. I'm gonna be walking around beating my head against a wall to stay awake.
Damien.
Come on, we've got a lot to do this morning. Damien O'Neill.
Come on, bub.
You guys are disturbing me.
If you don't eat, how are you going to have the energy to play on the playground?
I already have the energy. Uh-huh.
You're already driving Daddy batty.
Damien, please eat.
Mama.
Hey, come here. Damien, come here, please.
I'm tired.
You don't want to eat the pancakes that you flipped?
Okay, no park.
But I'm sleepy.
But you still got to eat your breakfast so you can go play at the park. Because Mommy's got to go to work in a few minutes. Don't you want to have breakfast with me? I'm going to count to 3. And you're either going to be at the table or you're going to go in your room and time out. 1. What's your choice? Make the right choice. 2. All right, to your room.
No. No.
And you're not going to come out until you're going to learn how to listen. When you're ready to eat your breakfast, you can come out.
He's throwing stuff at the door.
Let me out. I'm dead.
You better lose your attitude, son. Are you done?
It's just you guys telling me what to do.
But that's what our job is.
But if I'm 10 years old.
Even if you're 10 years old.
But if I'm 51.
Then you can tell whoever else you want what to do. My hours are up and down all week. I'm going from graveyard, and I'll work 2 day shifts, 2 swing shifts, and then 1 grave shift. Minimum wage just isn't cutting paying bills.
Pick a color. Number 14. I don't want my son to have the same struggles that I had. So we've got to do the best we can for him. I'm thinking about taking on a second job so we can catch up. I want him to be smart. You know, he is smart. I just want him to reach his potential.
Parents are, were, will always be their child's first and best teacher, period. At the same time, higher income families choose to pay for their children to be in high quality early learning settings. They can afford to make that choice.
You gonna make it?
If we give everybody a shot and things don't turn out right, to me, that's the American way. I can live with that. But you cannot tell me that for certain Americans, they're gonna have every advantage you can imagine. And they're gonna compete against these kids who have nothing. And we're gonna say, oh, which kid is probably gonna do better? And be surprised?
It's a vicious cycle, and studies show the deck is stacked from the start. By age 3, children from higher income families have heard an average of 30 million more words than their low-income peers. By 5, they've spent 1,300 more hours in places like libraries and museums, and their parents are spending thousands of dollars more on preschool and educational enrichment. All this extra stimulation has an impact on the developing brain. By the first day of kindergarten, higher income kids are already as much as 2 years ahead in language development.
So this is a gap of opportunity that really starts to turn into an academic and achievement gap.
A low-income 4th grader who's already behind in reading is 13 times more likely to drop out of high school. And kids who drop out of high school are 50% more likely to be unemployed than high school graduates, and 8 times more likely to be incarcerated.
You can make an honest argument that keeping kids in school is grassroots crime prevention. We're in a $400 million state prison that will be opening within the next 8 months to house 3,500 inmates, 40% of whom came through our door without a high school diploma. This is the most expensive and least effective way to address these issues. So for me, it's just really simple. True criminal justice reform is investing in early childhood education.
Look, the most critical point in a kid's life is right now, right? So if they're 8, it's right now. If they're 12, it's right now. But I want to tell you this. The investment you do in that young person from the very beginning gives you the best possibility of scaling this thing and being successful. Because in the end, this will pay off dividends for this country in a way that nothing else will.
Shay Gaddis is about as close to living proof of that as you can get. Gaddis is the executive director of the Flatbush YMCA in Brooklyn. He also happens to be one of the subjects of a landmark early learning study that's been tracking him for more than 40 years, the Abecedarian Project. Launched in 1972 by researchers in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the study was designed to examine the long-term impact of full-day, high-quality early care and education on low-income children like Shay.
I started when I was 3 months old. I do have vivid memories, and I remember sort of games, puzzles, those kind of things, which today I can't stop playing with puzzles, to be quite honest.
The puzzles was here.
4.5 decades in, the results of the study are striking. As a group, Gaddis and his former classmates are healthier, they're better educated, they make more money, and they're less likely to have committed a crime than a group of similar kids the study also tracked who didn't attend the program.
My mom, she had me when she was 15. So my grandparents raised me from birth. Neither one of them had a 3rd grade education, couldn't read or write. So from my own experience, here's a child that grew up with limited resources, but was able to attain a level playing field in the classroom. If I didn't have the Abecedarian program, probably wouldn't have had that chance.
We have a chance of ending intergenerational poverty. Today in this country, you're born into poverty, odds are you're going to end up as an adult in poverty. High quality early childhood education has a strong possibility of breaking that cycle.
Abecedarian is one of several long-term studies that show when it comes to children, the earlier we invest, the bigger the payoff for society.
Compared to all the things then we do for the rest of their life, we are writing checks that are so much more expensive than what it would have been had we invested when they were little.
You can put a dollar value on not having to retain a child. You can put a dollar value on the healthcare implications long term. You can put a dollar value on not needing special ed. You can put a dollar value on the child graduating high school, getting a better job, and not paying taxes. In particular, you can put dollar values on the cost of crime, which is huge. You won't find a better public return than investing in early childhood education.
Early brain infrastructure should be taken as seriously as other forms of infrastructure, as highways and bridges and airports and those sorts of things. This is our workforce. This is about the future of our country in a very real economic sense.
Our society is becoming increasingly technologically complex. In order to fill basic jobs, young adults need to have more skills than they've ever been required to have any time in the past.
CEOs of big corporations, they need young employees that play well with others. They don't want just smart people. They really want people that have good emotional skills, good social judgment. And so we have to really attend to the development of these parts of the brain that allow us to play in the sandbox.
Boys and girls, meet me on the rug for Solve That! Let's roll! Come on, Jonathan! Let's get started! What problem are we gonna have, Ayana?
A fight.
Okay, are you guys ready? I'm not gonna play with you. You can't be my friend anymore. I don't wanna be your friend. All right, call on somebody.
Our class has a game show called Solve That Problem. The kids know different kind of strategies to get themselves out of sticky situations so that you're not always running to an adult.
Blake, you guys can tell each other sorry and be nice to each other and not say bad words to each other.
Miss Stone, I'm sorry. Earlier I called you a bad name and I took your toy.
They're going to solve the problems in the class, and then if new problems arrive, they will learn those strategies. Uh-oh.
We have a problem.
What happened? Come on, Ayana, let's solve it.
Carson just take the ship out of my
Carson took the ship out of your hand. Ayana, he wants something she has. He said, please, can I have it? What should he say after? Can I have it when you're done? Try that.
Yes.
Did we solve your problem? Woo! We solved the problem! All right.
People think that to be ready for kindergarten, I have to know the alphabet. I need to be able to count to 20 and above. When you ask teachers, what does it mean to be ready for kindergarten? They will often tell you, I rather have a child who comes to my classroom able to regulate his or her emotions, who's able to handle transitions, who could pay attention and listen, who can get along with others. These skills are what we call executive function skills.
Executive function includes things like impulse control, and it includes attention, and it includes planning, and includes memory. All those things that we think about as learning to learn skills.
These are the most important skills when you're thinking about school readiness. You can't teach a child how to read if they can't focus their attention on what you're asking them to read.
Go, John. Look at your ass. Good job.
Executive function skills aren't something we're born with. We have to learn them. And what lets us learn them is the part of the brain right behind our eyes, the prefrontal cortex. The job of the prefrontal cortex is to manage the signals coming from the rest of the brain.
We refer to it as the little air traffic controller in the brain. And that's because an air traffic controller has to manage multiple airplanes that are landing on multiple runways with exquisite timing. And that is exactly what children are doing when they're interacting with other children, learning in a classroom.
The prefrontal cortex is one of the last parts of the brain to develop, which means executive function doesn't really even kick into gear until around age 3.
And that's why it's so important to focus on these skills during the preschool years, because it's during the first 5 years where you see the biggest growth in brain development.
You can see what a difference it makes when a surprise visitor shows up to meet the kids in the yellow room.
You ready to tell them?
Guess what? What? We have a guest coming in.
Okay. Sloan, are you ready to come play?
I saw a baby.
You did? Come on. Hi, Sloan. Let's go. Mommy's right there.
Hi, guys.
This is baby Sloan.
Look at how mature the big kids seem. They're following directions, they're sitting still, they're taking turns when they talk. That's executive function in action.
I'm gonna roll it to Mommy.
Baby Sloan, not so much.
Executive function skills are better predictors, better than IQ, of not only school achievement, but how well they're going to do later in life. It's hard for kids because when they want something, they want it right away. And it's even hard for us as adults. But there are great strategies to help kids learn these skills. Cookie, wait, what are you doing here?
Oh, well, me just, you know, sauntering through, and me, saw this cookie here, so me just gonna make a cookie.
Wait, no, Cookie, we're in the middle of an interview. I'm doing a documentary film.
A documentary?
Yes.
This documentary?
Yes.
Oh, that with all the lights and all the people?
Yeah,
and
so I'm
the microphone?
Exactly.
Oh,
and
boy,
so,
that looked delicious.
Right? No, you can't have the microphone either.
Yeah, sorry, me just gonna take a cookie and be on my way.
Cookie, wait, I'm gonna make a deal with you.
Yeah, what?
If you control yourself, all right, and let me finish this interview, then I'm gonna give you a whole plate of cookies.
Deal.
Yes, deal?
Deal, where me side?
All right, but you have to wait over there, control yourself, and be patient.
Me can do this.
Okay, all right.
Me
good.
just wait a little longer and me get whole plate of cookies.
Then you get a whole plate of delicious
Oh
cookies.
boy, oh boy, oh boy, me so excited.
All right, thank you.
So let's say you have a child who really, really wants something, like Cookie Monster really wants that cookie. There are techniques that we can teach children to help them shift their attention away from that desired item. A good example of a simple technique is a child just turning their back to the desired item, sort of like out of sight, out of mind.
Nothing to see here. No cookies here. No delicious chocolate.
Or play with another toy. Get involved in another exciting, engaging activity. Another strategy is to sing to yourself.
Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then me get a little bit angry when it turn around.
Strategies like these help children pause and be thoughtful when they're making decisions so they're not so impulsive. And more importantly, research is showing that these executive function skills have a huge impact on their school achievement. And also...
Hi, sorry. You've done with your interview yet?
You know what, Cookie? Yeah, I think we're done. I think I got all the answers in.
Really?
Yeah.
So we can eat cookies?
It's your time to have the cookie.
Oh boy, me did it.
Yes, you did it. I'm so proud of you.
Hi, we are inviting families to our parenting program. It's free and it's for moms that have babies. They can attend the program with the babies. ¿Cómo está?
Avance is a two-generation program that partners parent education about child development with early childhood education for little ones 0 to 3. Almost 30% of people in Waco live in poverty. There are zip codes and census tracts in Waco where 1 in 4 children go hungry.
The 1-year-old at that house, 1 year old, he doesn't know how to sit up. We were in shock with that kid. We were like, wow, he won and he can't say anything, he doesn't sit up, he doesn't walk.
You can work with children until you're blue in the face, but if the home environment is also not transformed, then that child's opportunities for success will be limited.
We've been seeing the impacts of early childhood adversity on health, on behavior, on life outcomes for a very, very, very long time. But what we now know is the mechanism. We know how early adversity leads to all of these different negative outcomes. And that is what we now understand to be toxic stress.
To understand toxic stress, we've got to understand the stress response system itself.
The stress response system is this amazing evolutionary system that was designed to save our lives. The folks who did not evolve a stress response, they're gone. They got eaten.
So let's imagine you're a 1-year-old in prehistoric times. You've just woken up from your nap, you're hungry, and your loincloth really needs changing. So you step outside the cave, and nobody's there. Instinctively, you know something's wrong. Without adults there to care for you, you're totally helpless. And that's when your stress response system kicks into gear.
Immediately, what happens is that our brain sends a signal to release stress hormones. So we release adrenaline and cortisol, and these hormones activate a whole slew of changes to our brains and bodies. Our heart starts to pound, our pupils dilate, our airways open up. The brain tells you, you're in a dangerous situation, you need to do whatever it takes to protect yourself.
So you do the one thing you can to tell the world you need help. And then Mom, Dad, or Grandma Grog comes along, your stress response system powers down, and you know everything's gonna be okay. Fast forward 40,000 years. Stress is still a part of everyday life for babies and young children, even if some of the causes are a little bit different. The stress response evolved to switch on immediately in the face of a threat.
Now it's a pot lid on Daddy's head.
But it's the comforting presence of caring adults that teaches the brain to switch it off when the threat is past.
We're just talking about being responsive. Just letting a child see that when she sends out a signal that she's distressed or scared, she can count on the fact that a caregiver is going to be there in some way to help address that situation.
But what if the stress in a young child's life never stops? Violence in the home or in the neighborhood, parental drug addiction, incarceration, or mental health problems, severe neglect or abuse. And what if the adults around that child don't or can't help them cope with it?
When children are experiencing situations of fear and adversity, and they do not have that buffering caregiver, they continue to pump out high levels of adrenaline and cortisol.
And here's the problem. If that stress hormone stays elevated, it actually starts to disrupt the development of brain circuits.
And then we start to see the health problems that are associated with toxic stress.
Toxic stress takes direct aim at the prefrontal cortex, undermining a child's ability to concentrate, control their emotions, or get along with others. A biological problem that becomes a behavioral one when a child gets to school.
The brain basically goes on fight or flight mode. So when they walk into a classroom, they continue to respond as if they're in a stressful, dangerous, unpredictable environment. But to a teacher, that child looks like they're just misbehaving. That's a problem child.
When my kids show symptoms of toxic stress, they get suspended. I literally saw a patient in clinic 2 weeks ago who has been suspended 26 times from transitional kindergarten. The child is 5 years old.
But the damage from toxic stress goes beyond the developing brain.
There are also effects on metabolism, on the immune system, on the cardiovascular system with profound consequences for physical health and mental health.
When those markers are set in childhood, they impact the way our bodies work for the rest of our lives. Heart disease, cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, experiencing high doses of early adversity doubles your risk for 7 out of 10 of the leading causes of death in the United States of America. That's nuts.
Kids growing up in low-income families are especially vulnerable to toxic stress. Today, that's nearly half the children under 6 in America.
So when I think about toxic stress, I think about how it cascades down. The electricity bill can't be paid, your lights go out, you can't put things on the table, everybody's unhappy. After a while, adults are relating in certain ways that aren't healthy. Children are relating in certain ways that aren't healthy. You're living in a community that's doing things that's not healthy. And all of it begins to have a cumulative impact on a 5-year-old.
So this actually argues for why we shouldn't be thinking just about the children. Because children live in families. We cannot transform the lives of children if we don't transform the lives of their parents as well.
Part of helping families make that shift is helping them create a dream and a goal, and then think about what are the steps that I need to do in order to make that dream a reality.
I was working in the chicken plants for like 7, 8 years, working on the 2 plants. My first husband used to be in jail a lot of times, and I'd be taking care of my kids by myself. So that's why it's struggling me to go to both jobs. I was going to work at 12 midnight, get off at 6, and then at 6, go to house, pick up the babies, get them dressed for school, drop in at school, and then go to my second job at 8 in the morning, get up at 5, buy some fast food, take them to the bed around 6:37 almost, and they didn't like it. They want to be outside work, playing and having fun, and I was so exhausted, I couldn't do it. I worked in a restaurant for 5 years when I was 13 years old, so I can understand it. And then I was one day on the street, and then these girls were passing flyers. They told me, no, there's a good program. Avance, they can help you out if you want to finish ED, and they can take care of the baby for free, and they teach you how to be with the kids. So I was like, yes, this is my opportunity right there.
We're gonna talk about the brain. When you have your child in a stimulating environment, his brain is gonna grow. How can we exercise the brain? Singing to our children, reading to our children, talking to our children.
I'm a mom for 4 kids, and I thought I was the best mom. I know how to take care of my kids. Nobody's gonna tell me what to do or how to do it, right? But no, I learned a lot of stuff from them. I couldn't believe it. Hola, ¿quién habla? And then my son, I see improvement on him because now he's turned around when he hears the sounds. I learned on the eating, I learned on the education. I learned that you have to at least hug them because they can know that you love them and you're there. We find some colors. So the teachers are helping me a lot. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Good morning. Goodbye, Lorenzo.
What I love about Avance is the early childhood education is forward thinking. We want our child to succeed in the future, but the ESL, GED classes, and workforce development training is the here and now. So I'm going to gain the skills that I need to lift my family out of poverty.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are going to continue working on some math, and then we also want to continue working on some of your writing with your constructed responses.
Always in my dream, I want to be a CNA, certificate nurse assistant. I mean, you don't get paid a lot, but at least try to start somewhere.
This program changed my life. I learned in English here. I have a better job. I can talk with my son's teacher in school.
I learned to be a better mom. I learned to understand my children and to be respectful to my kids. They helped me to be as successful and dream again.
I learned if you believe it, you can have. All days I say, thank you, teacher, but I don't have nothing to pay. All they do for me. Just I wish one day all the mothers like me have this opportunity.
No importa si llegar, vamos a hacer, you know? We're gonna do it. We're all gonna finish, right? We're gonna be a better moms. Yeah. Bye, Miss Beth. Bye, Gracie. Bye, guys. Bye. I'm gonna do it because I want them to see that I did it so they can do it. Bye, Bye. Thank you. Bye, nos vemos mañana. See you tomorrow. ¿Cómo te fue ahora? ¿Qué estás viendo? ¿Cámara?
My name's Mike Hall, and I flew fighters in the Air Force for nearly 3 decades, retired as a Major General.
Well, I am retired Rear Admiral Casey Coain.
My name is Bob Biesel. I spent 30 years in the United States Navy and retired as a Rear Admiral.
People are a little surprised when someone from the military says, gee, we should be taking care of little ones. But we think the #1 national security issue for this country is the readiness of our citizens to serve in society and in the military.
71% nationwide of our 17 to 24-year-old population is ineligible to join our military. They can't serve if they want to serve. And that's because primarily they're too poorly educated, they're not healthy, or they have a serious misdemeanor or felony criminal record that prevents them.
Which then begs the question, if you're not qualified for military service, what's your citizen readiness overall?
If they can't qualify to join the military, can they qualify to work for IBM or General Motors or somebody else? And the answer in many cases is no. And so if America can't compete globally economically, then that's a national security issue.
We're looking to this next generation to be able to protect us and our national interests, just as we did for our parents and grandparents.
It's not just about my grandchild, in my case. It's about America's children.
When it comes to early childhood, the military doesn't just talk a good game.
The military actually has one of the best family support systems in the United States. In fact, I think it has the best family support system in the United States.
Wake up. Come on. Let's get ready for school.
The Department of Defense provides or subsidizes high-quality early care and education for more than 75,000 military children, including Ayana from the Yellow Room.
You can count by tens? Let me hear you.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
As a military parent, we move a lot.
Hi, Daddy.
Hello, my love.
And there's a lot of anxiety when it comes to finding childcare because you want to make sure that you're putting your child in the right place with people who are going to take care of them and treat them nice.
Bye, Emma.
Bye, Emma. Bye, Emma. I stumbled upon Highland Park Community. It actually was cheaper than where she came from because it's subsidized by the military. And you could see that learning was going on. I was like, where do I sign?
Ayana, what's going on in this picture?
I'm next to the boy.
Ayana's experience in the Yellow Room has been phenomenal. I know where she started, and I can see where she is now. And it's really night and day.
This one, do you know what letter this is? Oh, let's do the alphabet. I'm gonna put it here, ready?
To just see that progression, like when I went there and they were like, she's gonna be journaling. I'm like, she can't, right? Miss Janini was like, no, all the parents say that, but I'll show you at the end of the year, you'll see. And everything that she told me has come to fruition.
You got it. And what's up to you next time?
I knew, but it really felt good when Ayana told me, I love Miss Janine.
Do you know who that is?
Virtually every childcare setting provided to military families is nationally accredited meaning that it not only meets basic regulations for safety and health and numbers of children, but it actually rises to a much higher bar of quality.
And Emily, grab a clipboard, pretty please, and grab your jackets. We're going out.
But that commitment hasn't extended to the civilian world. The U.S. ranks near the bottom of the pack when it comes to public funding for 0 to 5. And out of all the money Americans spend on education, just 3% goes to early childhood. The result is that for too many families, high-quality early learning, the kind that can fuel healthy brain development, close the achievement gap, teach executive function, and fight the effects of toxic stress, is simply out of reach.
Unfortunately, it's not just any early learning environment that makes a difference for outcomes. It is high quality. We know that. We've seen it. We have evidence.
Here, come with me, guys. I found a really great spot where I think we're going to be able to find a lot of really cool bugs. We're going to try to find bugs. We're going to find out what kind of bug
No, it's flying around.
Well, hold on. Our job is to find out what kind of bug it is so we can bring it into the yellow room, and then guess what we'll do?
Show it.
We're going to show it. You're totally right, Emily. We are going to act as bug experts.
So what does teaching and instruction and learning look like in a high-quality program?
What's this? It looks like poop.
Well, I don't think it's poop because it doesn't feel like poop. Grab a book. Grab one of the books, Blake.
Why?
Because we can look it up. It might be an egg of some kind. Okay.
In a high-quality program, you don't see little kids sitting at desks. You don't see a teacher in front of a room talking and talking and talking to a bunch of kids in the back of the room.
It's that!
Oh my! It's an egg!
What kind of egg?
It's a cricket. It's a cricket egg. No, it's a like a mantis.
It's a praying mantis egg. Oh my gosh!
Oh my God! We found a baby egg.
This is amazing. Okay.
You want to have a child who's in an environment where there's a lot of play and there's a lot of ability to explore, but you also need to have an adult there who's doing the scaffolding.
You know what? We can keep this in our class until it hatches.
Yeah!
You see the teacher encouraging the children to explore and understand and learn from whatever it is they're doing.
I love that you noticed that it had lines around the egg. Really nice observation.
It's not just free play, but it looks a lot like play because everyone's having fun.
How to take care of an egg. All right, let's see what it says. What do you think it's gonna say? You have chickens, you know how to take care of eggs.
But not tarantula egg.
You keep saying the word tarantula. I thought we found that it was a different kind of egg. I thought it was a praying mantis egg.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's look at a picture. Maybe we'll look at a tarantula egg, we'll look at a praying mantis egg, and we'll see which one it is.
We can measure things like teacher ratios, whether or not a teacher had a BA and the number of BAs in a classroom. Those are all very important. What really makes a huge difference in a child's life is how the child and teacher, child and adult interact.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we can make this, and we just take care of it. So what happened today in our bug group?
We learned about hatching an egg.
Boys and girls. No, it's not a grasshopper egg. We looked it up. What kind of egg is it?
A tarantula.
It's not a tarantula egg. Who knows what kind of egg is it?
A mantis. It's a praying.
I think these children will be lifelong learners. And Miss Janine has planted a seed in them. They will always have a thirst for knowledge.
This is a praying mantis egg, and inside of it is a little amount of praying mantis or a lot of praying mantis? A lot.
One of the things that early care and education providers fight against constantly is the idea that they're just babysitting.
People talk about like, oh, what do you do? Just play with kids all day? Like, oh, you just babysit? And it's like, no. Do we tell you what I do all day, you know?
The whole notion of babysitting is antiquated. It's not babysitting, it's brain building.
Early childhood educators are scientists, they're emotional supporters, they are family advocates.
They're an educator, they're a healthcare provider.
They're also a party planner because you have to keep children busy and occupied and engaged, and you have to keep 20 of them. You know, I often tell people to think about their child's 2-year-old birthday, but it doesn't end after a couple of hours, and they all come back the next day and the next day.
They are doing the work that will really fundamentally make a difference for the outcomes of these young children.
I want to be their Miss Honey. I want to be the one that's like, you can do anything. Like, this is possible. Like, when they reflect on their preschool experience, I want them to have this weird memory of this person that may or may not have existed, that let them do things that they don't quite remember, but they remember it being really cool. And it's weird to think that I'm not going to have that impact anymore.
HB Jones, Rachel, how can I help you?
It's all of us. All of us had second jobs last year. All of us.
Early childhood teachers make like under 30 grand a year.
Oh yeah, early childhood.
Yes, and as a preschool teacher, I basically make nothing, so I have a second job. This is what life is. Like, you work 2 jobs.
Yeah, early childhood, yeah, you don't get paid hardly anything.
Yeah, but you should, because it's the most important time.
We had to supplement our incomes because we choose to teach here. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been here 2 extra years because I make excuses. I like it here.
Today we have higher expectations than we've ever had of what childcare teachers can and should accomplish. But we are placing those expectations on the back of a workforce that is earning poverty-level wages. In this country, the typical childcare teacher's wages fall below those of the people who take care of our dogs, who park our cars, who make our drinks. Childcare teachers earn in the bottom 3 to 5% of the national wage scale. They've been at the bottom for the past 25 years, and they haven't budged.
It's not only unfair, from an economic point of view, it's downright stupid.
This is where it starts. This is where their futures start. Their personalities, a lot of who they are, their character is developed within the first 5 years. And the appreciation or like how they view preschool teachers is like, it's like you don't matter.
What letter are we learning this week? Do you remember? F. Can you show me F? Make the F sound. Today we're gonna make a train, and I'm gonna go chugga chugga choo choo all around this rug. And if you can tell me a word that starts with F, you can join the train. Are you ready? Charlotte. Foot. Join my train, girl.
I can't move out of my parents' house. I can't have my own financial stability because I just don't get paid enough. It just kind of devalues, I think, preschool teachers a lot. And then it devalues the profession. It devalues the time that these kids have here. I don't know, it's been difficult and it makes me angry.
Ready? You got your tools? Let's go. Pop the hood. That's called a hood bumper.
Want to check the hood bumper.
If there's one core message about development, it's that it is cumulative. And even though it gets harder to change brain structures, harder to change behavior as children grow up, the door is always open.
What else do we need to check?
It's the investment from adults,
Good.
that very distinctively human combination of caring for children and teaching them at the same time, just in our everyday activity, that really and literally makes us human.
Push. Daddy will hold it. Just keep turning.
And I think everybody, when it comes to their children, has this feeling that this is the most important thing in the world. What could possibly be more important?
That means that it doesn't need to be fixed.
It doesn't need to be replaced.
It doesn't need to be replaced. Excuse me, Mr. Know-It-All.
Mr. Know-It-All.
The hard part is to get people to realize that that's not just true about my children, it's true about your children and the children of the people down the block and the children of the people who don't look like us or aren't in the same part of the city or aren't in the same part of the state or, for that matter, aren't in the same part of the world.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Yellow Room Expert Expo. Before we do awards, I just want to say I've called community home for 5 years. I'm leaving the land of teaching. I am going back to grad school to finish my master's. So, yeah, right? High five for that, man. Way to go, Shay. All right, thank you so much, and I'm glad you cut me off because I'd cry. All right, Grace, come on up.
Every time I hear somebody talk about, they're worried about the future of America. They're worried about where we're going to be 25 years from now in terms of, our workforce. And then they're not really interested in investing in early childhood. You want to slap your forehead. Like, what are you thinking? How are we going to get there? All of that foundation for all the things we want to see in society is laid in those earliest years.
Hey, Anna, my great lunch buddy that loves to sit next to me at lunchtime. No matter what we're talking about, she's always got an answer to help solve the problem. So she is voted best problem solver.
Woo! Yeah!
We have a deeper understanding now of how important these early years are and why. And once you know that, you can't just put that out of your mind and walk away.
Do you want to help Mommy? Okay, you get an onion. You might need 2 hands. You want to peel them off? All right, hold on to that.
The challenge that we have is that people will go, we can't afford this stuff, it's going to cost too much money. What people fail to ask is, how much are we paying as a society because we are not putting those investments in up front?
We need leaders in Washington. We need leaders in every community to step up and say, no, this first. This is our priority. Every child should have access to high-quality early education.
Welcome to the 2015 graduation from the Avance Parent-Child Education Program.
If we get it wrong, at the very basic level, we have missed an enormous opportunity. At the more egregious level, we have failed young children and failed their families and failed to follow through on the promise of the American dream.
Maria Hernandez y Lorenzo Galvan.
If we get this right, our country will look dramatically different.
Look, early learning is not a panacea to fix everything in society. But what it can do is deeply powerful.
Come on, little boy bunches.
We are on the precipice of such an amazing time. We're unlocking the secrets of the brain. First time in history. We never had a way to look into a baby's brain before. There are ways to build environments to optimize the way in which people grow. That's what we call a rich environment for children. Whatever we want to call it, childcare, preschool, home. We have to do it everywhere.
Imagine a basketball team that plays lockdown defense the whole first quarter. Or an architect whose detailed plans make construction smooth sailing. Or a stand-up comic who flawlessly sets up the perfect punchline.
28.
Now, imagine an America where every child starts off on the right foot. What would that look like?